Hey y'all, it's Anaya. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have for you a client tutorial or a client makeover, whatever. This is for prom, so she wanted a blue and silver makeup look because her dress is blue and silver. And this is also how to do makeup on dark skin because I'm sick and tired of seeing makeup artists not know what they're doing. So anyways, without further ado, let's get into the tutorial. So first I'm just going to do her eyebrows, and I filled in her eyebrows using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow in the color Ebony. One thing I see a lot of times when people are doing dark skin people is they like to use black, and that's not what you want to do. The eyebrows are not black. For her eyes, I'm going to be priming them with the NYX eyeshadow base and then setting that with the white eyeshadow. After I set it, I went back in with a little bit of a darker eyeshadow just to tone down some of the brightness. And then I took the Morphe 35O palette and I took the middle shade, I believe. It's like a brick red shade. And I'm using this as my transition shade. And I'm making sure to really blend that out. And I'm going back in and darkening that up. Next, I'm just going to take a navy blue color and I'm going to start working this into the crease, and I'm going to slowly move it towards the center of the eye. But I'm going to go back and forth between blending each time to make sure that there are no harsh lines. So now I'm just going to take a glitter primer and start priming her lids, and then I'm going to apply a silver pigment. I don't know where I got this pigment from. It was my mom's. It was really old, so any silver pigment will do for this, honestly. And when applying the pigment, you want to press it into the primer before you start to drag it. Don't just go in and drag because it's going to look blotchy or patchy. You want to pat the pigment into the primer so that it will stick. Okay, so after I've applied the pigment, I'm just gonna blend the blue shadow into it so that there's not a harsh line, because I didn't want this to be a cut crease, so I didn't want there to be any harsh lines. And now I'm just going to apply primer to her face, and then she has oily skin, so I'm also going to put a little bit of powder on her face before her foundation. And the foundation that I used on her is the Black Opal Cream Stick Foundation, and I use the color Black Walnut. And for this foundation, I like to blend out with a brush versus a sponge. So I'm just blending that out with a Morphe brush. This brush came in the vegan brush, 9-piece vegan brush set. When I was about to put the foundation on her forehead, I noticed that she had a couple dark spots there, so I went ahead and applied a little bit of orange corrector and then put her foundation on, just so that I wouldn't have to use a lot, because people with oily skin, you don't want to just pack on a lot of foundation on them because it'll cause them to get oily quicker. So yeah, I try to use as little foundation as possible, so I color corrected a little bit. So to highlight her face, I didn't want to use anything thick, so I used a foundation. This is the Makeup Forever Ultra HD foundation in the color R540, which I believe is the darkest one. And just to help it blend to the foundation, I first blended out the edges with a brush, and then I blended in the under eye with a sponge. Okay, so to set her face, I use the Black Opal Deluxe Finishing Powder in the color Dark. And I made sure to keep my sponge in my hand to blend out any creases before I applied the powder. And I didn't want to bake because I didn't want her to have any flashbacks, so what I did was I just really took my time and pressed the powder into her skin. For her face, I used the pressed powder by Black Radiance in the color Ebony. And this also, I'm just really pressing this into her skin. I'm not dragging it. I will drag it, but I first press and then drag. Because if you drag powder onto something wet, it's going to look patchy. So for a little bit of contour, I'm using the NYX contour palette. I use the NYX contour palette, and then I also use the Sleek Face Form palette in Dark. I mix the powders together. Onto highlight, I use the ColourPop highlight in the color Glow Up. I think that's from the K collection, like K-pop. And I'm only using a little bit, and as you can see, I'm not bringing it all the way towards her cheek because the center of her face is what gets oily fastest. And so I don't want to put anything there that's going to reflect any light.
Oh.
You didn't like that?
The what? The back?
Yeah.
Wow. Shocking. Who knew? Shut up. Don't laugh at me. It's not funny.
It is, and then you like all you had to do was do it like that.
Well.
Okay, so on to the lips. I'm going to line her lips with a brown liner. Then I'm just going to take the Anastasia Beverly Hills lip gloss in the color Sepia and use this on her. I think this is such a pretty nude for dark skinned people, so if you don't have this, you should really try it. Now I'm just going back in and doing little final touches, so I'm adding a bit more powder around the sides of her nose and her forehead. I don't know.
Yeah, it's right there.
I don't care, I see it.
Okay, it's my vision.
She brought individuals for me to put on her, and as a final touch, I noticed that one eye was a little uneven, so I just added another individual to the eye, and now I'm doing her under eye. I'm taking the first brown shade that I used all the way underneath her eye, and then I'm taking that blue shade, the navy blue shade, and I'm putting it about halfway and then blending it out with a pencil brush, and that is the final look. Thank you guys for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and to follow me on all of my other social medias, and I will have another prom makeover coming soon.